a movie last night called The End of America, A Letter of Warning to a Young Patriot. I'm sure you know who Naomi Wolf is.
Yes.
Oh, she did that movie, and she gives 10 steps. I'd recommend that movie for anybody, how a government will, move toward a fascist to destroy, the sitting Republican government. And the first thing they do is invoke terror, internal and external enemies, secret prisons.
No, I mean they're hyping up a non-existent terror threat. Even if Al Qaeda was real and not working for the globalist, you got a better chance of a honeybee killing you. I mean, literally, it's a joke. Land of the free, home of the brave, on its knees to men in black uniforms, saying "Save us from Keebler elves."
Right, and about the pale horse, about Charlie Daniels has that. He's going to narrate that movie about the pale horse, Behold the Pale Horse. And then I heard Webster Tarpley talking about the Mormon thing about the pale horse. Well, the pale horse in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, says, I looked it up.
It's death.
It's death and hell followed with it. And then you study that word hell, it doesn't mean the place hell. It means this is pictured here as a terrible monster about to destroy
hell means death, destruction, burning cities, black uniforms, torture. That's what hell is. Hell is being released. The Bill of Rights and Constitution are morals dropping, shields down, in floods, like opening a submarine door, in floods the icy water of tyranny.
And you're right about everything just about everything you say. I've been preaching this for quite some time, just like you have to people, and you have to be called crazy to get people to listen to you. Now people are starting to get hungry. They're actually starting to get hungry physically because they're
No, that's what I'm finding. People are starting to wake up. God bless you. Believe me, folks. I mean, everywhere I go, I run into listeners. And I ran into a fellow yesterday who'd just been to Australia, and he said, man, all over, people go, you're from Texas? Alex Jones. He went to a church, and people were all listeners. I mean, it's big, folks. That's why I don't feel like I'm worthy. I mean, I've got conservatively 15 million listeners a week now. And in fact, that's an old number. It's more like 20 million now. And it's just growing exponentially. It is such a responsibility. But all I can do is just keep warning people. John in Pennsylvania, got about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
I was wondering why you don't ever interview Kevin Trudeau anymore. And
well, I interviewed Kevin twice. Not that I even totally agree with everything he says, because the government was trying to block his book about herbs because he's an interesting person. But that's why, I mean, I just had him on. There's some guests we have on a couple times, then, we haven't had back on.
Well, with Bilderberg coming up, I think it would be a great interview if you did him again, because the last one I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was in a yacht off the coast of where they were having their meeting, and I'm sure that's true. He's a big jet setter. But I have sources inside Bilderberg. And so, not that are Bilderbergs, but I have sources inside Bilderberg. And so this is going to be a year that won't be one to forget.
I'm looking forward to it. Keep up the good work. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, we're going to come right back after this quick break, and I believe we're going to have Dr. Corsi. He was supposed to be on an hour ago, but he's like, I'm in a war zone, I think was the quote. There's so much coming up. I'm here with the chief investigator. Oh, my gosh. And I've never heard him really hyped up like that, so wouldn't say Jerome Corsi has hype in him. So we'll find out what's up, Doc, on the other side of this quick break. Prisonplanet.tv, Infowars.com, and PlanetInfowars.com. The social network is in beta. Dr. Jerome Corsi has breaking news. He couldn't even come on with us in the last hour. He is there with the head of the cold case posse from Maricopa County, Arizona, in Hawaii. When he was on with us with an update on Obama and his publicist for 16 plus years saying that he was born in Kenya, then Arpaio demanded they release documents. Well, it looks like this is a new fraud, just like the old fraud. They can't even get straight which hospital he was born at. That's all coming up. We just had him, but his Skype dropped. We're reconnecting right now. Let me just also plug here, and your purchase supports the broadcast as well. These things are basically out of print. And Carroll Quigley's on record saying that he's mad that they're back in print before he died. This is a top globalist given access to the New World Order's archives. He wrote Tragedy and Hope, A History of the World in Our Time. Bill Clinton's mentor. Bill Clinton said, I heard that call clarified by a professor I had named Carroll Quigley. The powers of financial capitalism had a far-reaching plan, nothing less than create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. And we have Peter E. Krogan, Dean of the School of Foreign Service, Georgetown, says he was one of the last of the great macro historians who traced the development of civilization with an awesome capability. The definitive work on the world's power structure. Now, you want to understand why the mega capitalists create communist systems to consolidate power? He explains all this and how the New World Order is a system where they're above the law and you're a slave. It's giant. It's 1,400 pages. It is full of incredible information. It's available at Infowars.com. So is Bloodlines of the Illuminati. So is A Noble Lie. Oklahoma City, exposing the inside job that was that event. Do we have Corsi yet? All right, his Skype dropped. Yep. Then go to Plan B after about 3 minutes. I want to kick in to call in his hotel room. I want to go to Plan B. Okay, thank you. All right, continuing. Talk about a buildup here. He couldn't come on last hour when he was scheduled. Now this. I want to find out. He's over there investigating. One of the chief advisors of the cold case posse, and he's got a bunch of news. So that's coming up if we're able to get him on the line with us. We'll just abort this in a minute. I mean, I'm not going to spend my whole day going over this and over this. Okay, so we've got him there. That's good. Coming up, there's a big revolt in Texas. 15% people are not re-enrolling in the colleges. And this is a whistleblower. This is directly from a high-level administrator because they're forcing deadly vaccines on people and they're having bad reactions. And they won't even tell them there's a waiver. The administrators don't want to have all these dropouts, but they're told you're not allowed to tell people. And that's the big issue. So we're breaking that news. It's at Infowars.com. It's also at my Twitter, Real Alex Jones at Twitter. So just go to twitter.com/Real Alex Jones. We've also launched the new social network, PlanetInfowars.com. And tens of thousands of people signed up. It obviously, we're going through some tweaking. It's slow sometimes. We're adding more servers. We'll get it where it's why it's in beta. So bear with us at PlanetInfowars.com. So be sure and check that out as well, and please spread the word. Okay, going now with breaking news is Dr. Jerome Corsi, Ph.D. from Harvard University in political science. He's also worked in areas of high finance. He also worked in national security for the State Department in war zones in the Middle East and other areas, and obviously worked in intelligence capacities, but we won't get into that. He's written 5 New York Times bestsellers, including 2 #1s. And the White House responded last year, releasing the fake birth certificate about a week before his book was going to come out. The White House ran the hoax that his book had been recalled. They don't do that if they're not desperate. Now, obviously, last week, we learned that his publicist for 16 years, in hundreds of different communiques and publications they put out, said he was born in Kenya. That information provided by Obama. That's standard. You provide your bio to the publicist, where you're from, what you did. And, the first black president of the Harvard Law Review from Kenya, born in Kenya. Boom. His wife saying, born in Kenya. We visit his homeland on video. Boom. We're told there is no long form. It doesn't exist. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's fake. He was never named Barry Soetoro. Oh, here's the records. I was Barry Soetoro. I did, go to Indonesia. You got to give up your citizenship at that time to become Indonesian. Oh, I did go to a mosque. The point is, everything he said is a lie. Okay? And Jerome Corsi joins us now via video Skype from Hawaii. He was there Sunday, but he didn't want us to tell you that. Now they're claiming they've released new stuff under Arpaio's request and the state's request, proving he is. You're giving us this breaking news here. We thank you, Doctor, for that, and WorldNetDaily.com. Tell us what's happening.
Well, I've been in Hawaii here for the entire week with Mike Zulu and the posse, the sheriff's investigators. And the breaking news is yesterday, we're quite convinced that our being here in Hawaii is one of the reasons the Hawaii Department of Health tried to verify Obama's birth in Hawaii to the state Secretary of State in Arizona. Now, what they did was a very clever thing here in Hawaii. They got a group of lawyers together, and they wrote a verification that is a non-verification. If you read it very carefully and say, what do they verify? Hawaii did not verify that the birth certificate on the White House website is accurate, or that it is authentic, or that any document looks like that. They didn't verify that. They didn't verify that Obama was born in Hawaii. What they verified was that the information on the birth certificate displayed on the White House is information for which the Hawaii Department of Health has a record. That's all they said. In other words, they said, we've got something in our file in Hawaii here that verifies that information. Now, see, it's very clever because Hawaii Department of Health said, well, we didn't tell you where we got the information, or if the information in our record is correct. It could have easily come from the grandparents going in and registering a birth. I've always said the birth was registered. But Hawaii allows the health department, the Department of Health, to issue a facsimile birth certificate. Look at that registrar stamp. It says, we verify that this is a copy or facsimile of the information we have about this person's birth in our file. So Hawaii is not showing us the information in the file. They are not showing the original birth certificate, pen and paper. They're not showing the microphone, film. They're not showing anything. They're just saying, we've got information resembling the information on that PDF file on the White House website.
And Governor Abercrombie, 2 months before they released the last fake one, said, we've looked, it's not there, Obama's got a problem. That's the quote.
It's all a lie and a cover-up. Get a group of clever lawyers together to issue a non-verification verification. Don't show anybody anything, and get the compliant mainstream media to say, oh, nothing you see here, folks, move on. No wizard behind the curtain. Case ended. We're done. Born in Hawaii. Well, it's absolutely nonsense. I mean, as you pointed out in introducing this segment here, Alex, for 26 years, Barack Obama's publicist has been issuing a biographical statement that Obama himself had to provide the information for, had to verify. He was born in Kenya. And that's been out there for 26 years.
They wouldn't have put you on house arrest when you flew to Kenya if it wasn't true.
Right.
The U.S. ambassador, you've got the letter in your book. It's online. It's public. Bush wanted to know when Hillary was saying all this in the campaign. And they said, yeah, it's been cut out of the records. You don't cut out records that weren't there.
Exactly. I published those letters that went to our ambassador in Kenya, where Kenya says, we don't have Obama's birth certificate, but that doesn't mean it wasn't here. The records have been tampered with and criminally tampered with so as to eliminate the evidence of Obama's birth. That's what Kenya did.
Now, what do you mean by the fact that the chief investigator you're with is under a blackout and can't come on air?
The sheriff announced yesterday, Sheriff Arpaio said that he wants the investigators to come home and completely debrief him on everything that's gone on here this week. I've also been only able to publish what I've been allowed to publish. Got tons of news here. I'm dying to get it published. We will be releasing information. The sheriff will be having a press conference here, I'd say by the middle of June. And the information...
That is dangerous. You need to release it right now. Don't let them Breitbart you. They've already raided the sheriff since he opened an investigation. I mean, that is... Why is Arpaio doing that?
Because he's got to have the time to get it ready. But the information is going to be shared. If anything happens to me or to Zulu, that information is coming out. At this point, all they're going to do, trying to attack me, if someone did in the White House, it would only confirm the validity of what we've got. What I'm here to say to you now, Alex, is that we have